Hi, my name is Randy Gill. I'm the president and CEO of Their Opportunity. We're a national children's organization that supports underserviced youth all across Canada. And what makes us unique is we have a give back program where every child has to perform some type of community service project as a way of paying it forward. The things that they've been given, generosity that's been handed to them, they're handing on to other people in their community. And also we work with many First Nations communities across the country as well. And this is why we're here today. And I want to thank all the folks from Their Opportunity and all peoples across the country for tuning in today as we focus on Indigenous Heritage Month. And I'm excited to welcome our guest with me here today. First, I'll introduce Their Opportunity's Indigenous Ambassador and founding member of our First Nations Equipment Drive at Their Opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, Frank Horn. Thanks for being here, Frank.
Thank you, Randy. Nice to meet everybody.
Secondly, I'd like to introduce former NHL hockey player, married father of three, good friend of mine and the co-founder of Three Nolans, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Nolan. Good to have you, Brandon.
Randy. Great to be here today.
Love to be together always, my man. And last but not least is the NHL Jack Adams winner for Coach of the Year, former NHL player, married father of two NHL sons, not bad. But what he's most proud of is that he's a grandpa to five amazing little squirts. Ladies and gentlemen, Ted Nolan. Tanse, Ted. How are you?
Thank you, Randy.
Good to have you with us. We've spent some good quality time together, and I'm looking forward just to having this type of chat, especially during this month where we are honoring Indigenous Heritage Month. And so what I'd like to do is pass it over to Frank. And Frank, if you could just bring acknowledgement today, that would be great. Thanks.
Before we start this chat that we're having, I would like to just do an acknowledgement of the land that I'm on. I'm calling, taking this call from Oshawa, and so to acknowledge the lands and people of the Mississauga of Scugog Island. I'm thankful to be welcomed on these lands in friendship. The lands are covered under the Williams Treaties and the traditional territories of the Mississaugas, which are part of the Anishinaabe, including the Algonquins, Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi. These lands remain home to a number of Indigenous people. We acknowledge this land out of respect for Indigenous nations who've cared for Turtle Island, and also called North America, long before the settlers arrived. So I just wanted to acknowledge where I'm calling from, and just to kind of center our conversation. Thank you. Nyawa.
Thank you, Frank. Well, Ted, let's start with you. We'll get right into it. So take it away, Ted. Tell us a little bit about, Ted's life in a bit of a nutshell, coming from Garden River.
Well, thank you, Randy. When I tell people where I was from and how I grew up, they think I was born in the 1800s. But, when we did get TV, I think we got TV when I was about 6 or 7 or what have you. But we grew up very, very traditional way. We had the wood stove and no electricity, and family of 12. I got 6 brothers and 5 sisters, and but the unfortunate situation happened up in Kamloops recently. We were. I guess the luckiest part for me is not going. My father made sure of that. He didn't let them take us to residential schools. So I feel very, very, very blessed that that didn't happen to us and what have you. But outside of that, growing up in Garden Rivers was, I wouldn't have changed it for the world. When I tell people about my life, they thought I was a poor child. I didn't know I was poor. We had what we had, and we worked with what we had, and then we made the best of it. I didn't know I was poor until somebody told me I was. Right. But as far as the upbringing, I couldn't ask for a better upbringing. I got up very traditionally with my mom, who was she ran the Hiawatha play when I was a little boy. Her father ran it before her, and his grandfather ran it before them. So it was a long family tradition of having the Hiawatha play in our community. So I was lucky enough to play Little Hiawatha when I was a kid. I powwow danced when I was 16, 17, and until hockey got the better of me, and that's where I moved away to play. But outside of that, I still have a home in Garden River. My family's still there. So it was the greatest upbringing I could ask for.
Amazing, amazing. Love hearing about that. So you were 16 when you moved away, and where did you end up going first when you moved away? Did you go away to play hockey, junior hockey somewhere? Was that kind of the first experience when you moved away?
That was the first experience. Yes, we went to school and we had ran into a little bit of racial problems at school, where a kid would call you some names, but too much to worry about because we're all together. And then when I went to Kenora, I was by myself, and going up there, I never seen anything like it in my life. I cried myself to sleep for the first month and a half that I was there, and the liking of the game between love of the game to surviving in the game, that's where it really switched. And I'll never forget my two brothers came to town. I thought presumably to watch me play my first exhibition game, but they came up to bring me home. I wrote a letter back home. I didn't have a phone to call and talk to. I wrote a couple letters, so I think they read in between the lines and knew I wasn't having the best of time. So they came to town to get me. And it was almost like yesterday. I'll always remember it. I was almost ready to jump in the car, and then I said, "No, I'm not going to go. I'm going to stay. And I'm going to fight through this stuff. I think if I go, they win, and I didn't want them to win. I wanted to. If I didn't make it, I wanted them not to make it on because I wanted to make it because I wasn't good enough.
Right.
So I stayed, and thankfully I did, and it led on to my professional career.
Amazing, amazing. Go ahead, Frank. I know you have a question for Brandon.
Yeah. So thanks, Ted. What you just shared about how you grew up, I heard the same type of stories from my father, and how tough it was. And I'm fortunate not to have experienced what he did, but I heard the stories, and it's something that centered me and made me stronger for what I heard, what was passed down to me. And so I have a daughter who's Mohawk as well. And it's important to me to share who she is and where she comes from. So Brandon, as a dad, how important is it for you hearing what your dad just shared and to pass that on to your kids?
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely important just to know who you are, where you came from. I think it really helps to help get you to where you want to go in life. And for me, it's just important to pass that knowledge on to my kids, just to make sure that they know that they're three proud Ojibways like I am. They're all members of Garden River First Nation like myself and my father, my brother. Just little things like the 7 grandfather teachings, or we have dream catchers in their bedrooms at their windows. They know the work that I do and the work that Three Nolans does with going to First Nation communities and just stuff like that. I mean, it's just super important to pass that on, and just little stuff as well. Just like we read books, Indigenous books, or they're learning with Indigenous History Month at school. Didn't get too much into it, but definitely taught them about the unfortunate situation we saw with the 215 youth in Kamloops with the residential school. And just, it's important to let them know about racism and how it exists, so that they can be proud of who they are and where they come from, but also so that they can respect other cultures. I mean, they may go to school with, someone in their class may be Black or from Mexico or from India, we're so culturally diverse now in Canada. I think it's really important, one, for them to be proud of who they are and where they come from, but also to respect others. And, I think the world's missing that a lot right now, a lot of more love and respect. And hopefully as we go and we learn from other people and other cultures and other histories, that we can, hopefully get to a place here where everyone respects everyone a little bit more.
Love it.
Yeah.
So important, especially as a dad, to pass that on. And you mentioned something in your answer about Three Nolans. So I think that's a good opportunity to talk about what's Three Nolans doing. Who are you guys? What's happening? Because, I've worked with you guys on some projects and things across the country, but maybe not everybody that's tuning in today knows what Three Nolans does for Indigenous communities. So Brandon, tell us a little bit about Three Nolans.
Yeah, Three Nolans we started in 2013. We started like really, really small. We wanted to just create a hockey school to get in our First Nation communities, to teach hockey skill development, but more importantly, to get them there, get them to the rink, and then teach them more important things in life, like leadership, how to be respectful, how to be a positive and contributing member of your community or your society. So in 2013, we started the hockey school, and then it's just kind of slowly grown. Everything we do is for Indigenous peoples and Indigenous youth. Like I said, we started the hockey school, which we were only at the time able to do, I would say 1 or 2 a year, but now we can do anywhere from 7 to 14 outside of the craziness that's going on with COVID right now. But, we're just trying to get into many communities as we can, impact as many youth as we can, and then also expanding. I mean, we get to do like cool Zoom events like this. We speak to colleges and universities, grade schools, conferences across the country. If there's one kid that I can change, or one kid that listens to my father speak or Jordan speak, if we can change one kid, I mean, that's amazing. If we can change more, even better. But Three Nolans, I mean, we're just trying to spread the message of really, 1, to work hard, 2, to be extremely proud of who you are and where you came from, and 3, to find ways to give back. I just think it's everyone's responsibility in some capacity, whether it's money, time, helping your teacher more at school, anything you can find ways to give back and be a good person is really probably the 3 most important messages that we're trying to spread, whether it's at an event or the hockey schools that we put on in communities.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, Ted, that must make you feel proud too, during these moments of, what the boys are doing. When we work together and when you're doing things out there in different communities all across the country, what type of barriers are you seeing for the First Nations communities as it relates to sport and recreation? Again, hockey, but not just hockey, other types of activity and recreation. What type of barriers do you find yourselves coming up against? Maybe Brandon, you might want to start, and then Ted, if you want to add anything as well. Like, what barriers do you come up against for youth, especially as they want to participate and be active?
I mean, there's a bunch of barriers. I think there's opportunity is one of them. Depending where it is you live in the country, if we travel to a lot of fly-in communities, so I mean, the opportunity for ice time or the opportunity for AAA tryouts or tournaments is quite significant for these communities. Another barrier, I mean, is cost. If we're just talking specifically about hockey, the hockey cost is just, man, it's outrageous. I mean, who can afford a pair of skates that's $1,200 or a new sticks that's, I mean, over $400? I don't really know how people can afford to play, and then you got the private lessons, and I mean, it just seems like now, which is kind of sad, if you want to try and make it in the game of hockey, you need to have a significant amount of money to do so, when before it was just everyone was kind of on the level playing field, and kind of hard work kind of got more kids to have opportunities. But now it just seems like money's a significant player in the game, and I hope there's ways that are coming that can it's not so much about playing pro either. If we can just lower the cost for kids to play, get involved in sport and learn the good things that we learn through sport, like leadership and teamwork, and then that just carries on in their lives. So, I mean, playing pro is one thing, but just lowering the cost of more kids having access to the game would be a good positive.
Good. Ted, you want to add anything to that?
I've double stamp exactly what Brandon said. The cost and all the issues that Brandon brought up. But another issue is acceptance. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest hurdles too. When you go and try out for a team, and you're the only brown skinned kid on the team, or a kid that looks a little bit different from everybody else, you don't feel as welcome as you should. And sometimes that scares a lot of people. And I've seen so many kids walk away from the sport, than more so than join the sport because of that factor. Mm-hmm. So, but we certainly, during a hockey school, Brandon, we talked about the importance of education. We want to really educate the kids on where they're going and some of the obstacles that they might face, and some of the tricks that we use to overcome those barriers. But now the more we've been doing it, and our kids are ready. Now we got to prepare society to be ready for them. Exactly understanding where our kids are coming from. They're not all the same. We don't all have the best sticks. We all don't have transportation to get to the rink on time as everybody wants to. I still remember when I was 14 years old. I was playing house league. I played house league hockey my whole life. I played, I think, a traveling house league team when I was 15 maybe, but we went to practice. We went to a game, and the game was in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. So we had to get a car, drive across into states, and play, and that was a big obstacle for us. And when I got there, the coach sat me out, and because I missed last Saturday's practice, and I missed practice because we didn't have a car to get to practice. Not that I didn't want to go, we just didn't have a car. So we didn't understand. Right then, my dad pulled me off. You're not playing for that team anymore, and he made me quit. And I'm going, but Dad, I want to play. So anyways, I sat out the rest of the year. But understanding is such a vital part of sport, and it's not all everybody adapting to you. You should adapt to one another.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really great segue into another question I want to ask you, Ted. And, some of those personal battles that, of injustice or racism that you faced in your hockey career, but also how you rose above it. Like, and then, framing that, what do we need to do to, educate and to come together so that the youth of the next generation don't face maybe some similar issues. But talk to us a little bit about some of those things that you had to experience and go through.
My biggest thing, ever since I played my first game against the Chicago Blackhawks, I believe, with the NHL, I remember walking up those stairs playing that first game, and I had tears in my eyes. Not so much tears there were tears of joy that I really wanted to honor that game for the people who sacrificed so much for us. We talk about the residential school era and so many injustices that happened to our people. And here I was able to play that first NHL game. And from that point on, I really wanted to come back and talk to our kids about perseverance and about working. But doing that over the years, the one thing I came across is, it's nice to tell our kids to work hard and persevere, but also there has to be a knowledge-based information to where our kids are going, to let the society know exactly what happened to our kids. And that's all about knowledge and understanding of one another and all acceptance. And like I said, for everyone like myself who was lucky enough to make it through the hurdles, there's thousands and thousands of kids that don't. So. Yeah. We're very thankful. We're very privileged, and I'm honored to be a father of two, and both my boys. Brandon, he's the one who came up with the concept. He said, "Dad, let's go back in our communities and do some more." And Jordan, he was playing, and we all know playing professional hockey, it takes a lot of time, but Jordan always squeezes out the time to come with us and give what he can. So it's probably the best. I don't even call it a job. It's probably the best thing that I've ever been involved with sport, is to share that knowledge with the next generation of kids, to help them prepare themselves to get ready for their challenges in life, help them to overcome. But the biggest thing is just trying to find tools in order to more tools in your toolbox, more opportunities you're going to have. And then Brandon and Jordan being younger, now they can talk with the new generation of kids coming up, because Brandon and Jordan certainly didn't face the same kind of situation that I faced when I was growing up, and they had a little bit more opportunity based on the knowledge that I gained through my experience. And that's all we could do, is pass down. That's why elders in our community are so important. They pass on that knowledge to the next generation to make us stronger. And I was, like I said, I lost my father when I was only 50, and I lost my mom when I was 21. But I had 6 brothers and 5 sisters. So my sisters started taking over as mom, and my brothers started taking over as dad. And without their guidance and without their help, I certainly wouldn't have accomplished what I had. And so I really wanted, in turn, the day Brandon was born, I kind of switched over my whole process, because I really truly believe our kids emulate what they see. And if they see good things and they see positive things and they can see opportunity, they're gonna achieve those opportunities themselves. And so I couldn't be more prouder as a dad.
So, Brandon, tell us again a little bit about how people that are watching today might be able to support 3 Nolans.
Yeah, for one, I mean, if any communities are looking to bring us in, whether it's to attend an event or do a hockey school, they can contact us directly through our website at www.3nolans.com. Like I said, we're very lucky to come across companies and people that are willing to either donate their time or provide a little bit of funding that can help us, again, reach more locations and just reach as much youth as we can. But a lot of stuff now is online, like this event, or all three of us, myself, my father, and my brother, have done speaking events. We've done stick handling online sessions. But really, we just love getting in the communities and working face to face with our youth. And we're just waiting for that time. Hopefully, I'm hoping we're back in the community sometime in the fall. But we'll see with, we just got to wait and make sure it's safe for all people involved. So when that time comes, we're jumping on a plane and we're out of here.
Let's go. Let's go.
I get it completely, because the best part of my job is getting in a plane and seeing my communities in person. That's the best part, because First Nation communities, they're awesome people, great sense of humor. They welcome you in, and once you build trust, they leave it. I live with the community. They make an impression on me, and I want to do more for them. It's the best part of the job. So I get it completely.
The trust is the big thing, and we go, like you mentioned, we go into some of the schools, and the kids feel very comfortable coming. They come with ringette sticks, and it's a hockey school. But then we have options to make part of the hockey school ringette school also, and we make everybody fit. And some kids are handicapped kids, and they want to partake too. So it was one of the. I tell you, this will bring a tear to your eye. We had a kid that was kind of he couldn't stand up all that well, and went really, really slow. And he went in the corner, he went around a circle, but every kid waited for he was done. They all banged their sticks for him was done. He had a smile from year to year. He was so happy with, and all the kids wanted him at the part of that school every day. And I'll never forget it. So it's really, really good.
Amazing. Well, something happened here on our Zoom call. We're getting hijacked. It looks like a special guest is joining us. Let me see if I can let this person in here into our call. We have a little special guest who has decided to make an appearance. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with great honor I'd like to introduce to you all the Chief of Garden River. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Andy Rickard. Nice to see you, Chief. How are you?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Well, what brings you here today, my man? How did this all happen? You just stumbled upon this, or what are you doing here today, Chief?
No, I just thought this would be a good opportunity to, hook up with Brandon and Ted. I know that, they've done a lot of good work for our community, not just our community, but our entire nation, right? And, being from Garden River, obviously, I'm quite proud of them, just like so many of our other people here in our community, right? And again, I think there's never enough accolations that can go towards the Nolans and all they've been able to do within their lives, but also, for the lives of so many of our people across these lands here. But no, I mean, I think, that's part of it is I know I haven't been a part of the conversations that took place prior to this, but obviously I'm sure it's very impactful as Ted and both Brandon have, been through quite a bit in their lives, and they've achieved quite a bit of beautiful things in their own rights, whatever, and they continue to blaze trails for our people, right? So I don't know, I from a leader, I think it's always nice to, just to be there to support, to at least, provide our well wishes and again, congratulations for everything that they've been able to achieve, not just for themselves, but for an entire nation of our people.
Well, thank you very much, Chief, for saying those words. And as you are, or the community are proud of us, we are proud of coming from Garden River. That's who raised us, and that's how we grew up, and that's who we are as Anishinaabe growing up. So growing up in Garden River meant the world to me. I mean, we had the Hiawatha play when I was a kid, and we had the powwow dancing, we had the fastball teams and the little NHL, and I had everything a kid would ever want. And I was telling the gentleman here on the call earlier, I wouldn't have changed my childhood for anything. I mean, I thought we went fishing on the weekends and go up into wilderness for the weekend and live off the land. And we only make it 1.5 days because we didn't get anything. We had to come back home to eat. Right, we made lean-tos and we sprang trees. I mean, it was so much fun, and so we're proud we're very, very proud to be Anishinaabe and from the Garden River First Nation.
Awesome. So thank you again, Chief, for being with us, and we hope to reconnect real soon. And thank you. It means a lot to us, but also especially to the Nolans that you support them and the people support them.
Yeah, and I just want to add one comment too. I know that we're obviously with the uncovering of the residential schools there out in Kamloops last week, and I've heard Ted speak about this. He actually put out a really good comment there last week that was featured in CBC about calling it out. You know what I mean? Racism and all those things that seem to be not talked about. I mean, we like to sugarcoat things a lot. It doesn't matter if it's sports or even government or industry. I think Ted was bang on when he mentioned some of those things of needing more action than just words, right? And that's what I've been able to do in my talks too, is because we can't just kind of sugarcoat these things and toss around, reconciliation and all those things loosely, because there has to be some meaning behind it. And Ted brought that up again with sports, and what he went through, what some of the other of our people went through, and it's always a good message to put it out there, because we can't always be nice. We always have to speak the truth. And Ted has always spoken the truth, and he's always coming with a good message for anybody that's there to listen. So again, I just want to say miigwech. Again, congratulations, Ted. Congratulations, Brandon. I didn't get a chance to talk about Brandon, but obviously, very a good athlete himself, not too bad, and some of the good work that he's doing with some of the hockey schools, and the line, the Three Nolans line, all good stuff for our community, and obviously very well respected, and people that our young people look up to, right? So again, much thanks, and again, keep up all that good work that you guys continue to do, and I look forward to when you guys come home here, maybe we can sit down for another visit if time permits. So on that note, my friends, miigwech, and thanks for having me.
Miigwech. Bye-bye.
Thanks for taking time, Chief.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Bye.
So Ted, I have a follow-up question as well about the article as well that was on, it's kind of stirring to me as well, about the CBC article that just was put out about taking action rather than just words. I believe that, in combating racism, it requires something, and I think you hit the nail on the head. You were quoted as saying it requires action and not words. Tell us a little bit more what you meant about that in that article.
Well, growing up where we grew up with, not too many people. And my neighbor down the road walked by me the other day. He didn't understand about the residential schools. I mean, this thing's been going on for generations, and Truth and Reconciliation. I mean, it was completed, 8 years ago, and there's still not much has been accomplished. We have murdered and missing women. Not too much from that. We had Marshall George. George incident that happened. We have so many instances that happen, and we either lower the flag half-mast and say, we're sorry and what have you. Enough saying sorry. We got to do some implementation of projects. We're not going to solve all these problems overnight, but we could certainly start working on them today. I think we can't so much talk about the problems. We got to talk about some of the solutions to the problems in projects.
Love it. Yeah, and sustainability long term. Like, we got to see the future in the next generations and not pass all these things on to the generations to follow, but make some strides to solution, to reconciliation. Now, I'm responsible. And for those of you who are watching, you're responsible for reconciliation. That's you. That's me. That's us. And I'm responsible to love all people. That's what this conversation is about, understanding one another. That's what this month is about, understanding and love for your neighbor, for your family. I consider the Nolans to be a family member to me. Like, we are family, and we're going to change one kid and one family at a time. That's our commitment. What's your commitment for those of you who are watching? And I don't want to stand on a soapbox and say, I'm doing it and you're not. Let's just do it together. And Brandon's talked about ways you can help support Three Nolans. You can support their opportunity in some of these projects that we're working on with First Nations communities and our equipment drive and things that we're doing, one step further and removing barriers. I want to encourage people that are watching today to tune into The Unwanted Visitor. That's a really important piece. I loved it. It did such a great job in that interview. So Google it. Search it up on Wanted Visitor on TSN. So to all, I just want to say miigwech, and to Chief Andy for joining us, surprise guest. That was wonderful. Thank you to Brandon and to Ted. Make sure to check them out on 3nolans.com and their Facebooks, Instagram, all those socials. And thank you, Frank Horn, for being an advisor to us at Their Opportunity and an ambassador and working alongside of us. For more information, check out theiropportunity.com. If you want to be a part of the First Nations Equipment Drive, there's information on there about that as well. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, you are responsible for what? For loving all people and for reconciliation. Have a great day.